What I'm going to talk about today is the easiest way for you to do your first scope. So for those of you who aren't scoping already, I'm going to encourage you tonight to go ahead and do it, and I'm going to show you what's the easiest way for you to get started. The first thing that's going to get you closer to scoping is you don't have to see this as some kind of, I've said this before, like an involved speech. A lot of times we put pressure on us to think that what we have to do on here is give some kind of perfect and prepared speech. We don't have to do that. In fact, all you have to do is tell your story. We all have a story to tell. It could be who we are. It could be maybe a challenge that we've overcome. It could be what we do on a day-to-day basis and how we help other people. That's your story. That's who you are, and that's a part of you. Everyone has something to share, and that is their story, and I think that story can benefit other people. I didn't realize that I was keeping that to myself until I came on here and started sharing and started just seeing the response in other people who would then tell me that, hey, because you shared some encouraging words, or because you said X thing, that also inspired me to tell my story. And I know that creates a ripple effect, right? When you tell your story, you're going to be providing value to others, and those people will then provide their value to others, and on and on and on. So who doesn't want to create a ripple effect of goodness and kindness and encouragement? I think that's the best thing that we can do in this world, right? Is provide, even if we affect one person, that's worth it, because it's one more person that we wouldn't have affected unless we stepped out a little bit outside of our comfort zone and told our story. Now, again, I said it doesn't have to be difficult. So here are a couple of ways you can tell your story. So the easiest way, just to kind of touch on what I talked about here, is the way you can tell your story is to just talk about who you are. You can talk about your interests. I know a lot of times we think it's a little bit egotistical for us to do that. Not at all. The way that you're going to relate to your audience is to talk about yourself. It might seem that after a while you just start getting better at it, and I think we run the risk of comparing ourselves to other people. Just to kind of share a more personal story with you guys, I had a great Thursday and Friday in terms of Periscope, because I was able to jump on here. I did 2 giveaways. I think I did great with the giveaways. There was a ton of participation, ton of support, ton of love from all of you guys. I was riding high. And then what happened immediately happened the next day on Saturday, when I started looking ahead and I'm thinking, okay, where am I going to go from here? What other valuable things am I going to bring to the community? What other projects can I start? What other things can I do? And I started comparing myself to people who are 2, 3, 5, 10 steps ahead of me. And what that did, it just crushed me. It just brought me down. I was completely crushed, at least from a mental standpoint, because I was seeing what I didn't have and what I lacked compared to others. And all that's going to do to you is it's going to create negative feelings. It'll rob you of all your joy. So when you're looking at other scopers, look at them, look to learn from them, but don't compare yourself. We all have a journey, and we all have a story to tell. So if you're going to start off small with just telling your story, that's completely okay. After a while, you go from telling your story to talking about what you do to then teaching about what you do. I'm sure that if you were sitting in front of a person who didn't have the same experience that you did, and you saw them that they needed help, or that that they could use your help, would you help them? If they were struggling, right? I'm sure you would help them. And what we do when we come here on Periscope, and especially if we're looking to build a tribe and build up an audience, when you're in front of the camera, what you're doing is you're not only just speaking in front of the camera and sharing your story, you're also providing value and helping others. So I'm sure there are other people that are several steps behind you that need to hear the message that you bring. And one thing I mentioned on one of my last scopes was that there is this rule of 7. If we just kind of bring it back to business and marketing, there are people that you might think, oh, they've already heard the message of social media and fitness and all. There's so much of that information on Periscope and on Blab, on Facebook, everywhere else. But believe it or not, there is someone out there who needs to hear it from you. They need to hear you provide that information. And there are people out there that are just going to completely click with you, your personality, with who you are, with the way you deliver content. So you need to step up and tell your story. So one other point, just again to kind of bring it back to business, of something that you can share with your audience and with the world is you can talk about what you do. And what you'll find out is if you never tell anybody what you do, they're never going to know. If you don't tell them what kind of services you can provide to them, they're not going to know that you provide that and potentially buy from you. What I found is when you come on here and you provide value and you tell people what you can do for them and how you can help them, your audience will start reaching out to you. Yes, you have to be visible. And the way you're visible is by showing up and providing value. People will get to know and like and trust you a lot faster if they can see you. Because they can see you the way you are, and they can see that you're being authentic and you're being honest, and in some cases even being vulnerable. I mean, we're all human. We have those vulnerable moments. I just shared with you guys how crushed I was feeling when I was comparing myself to others. And, thank God for family and great friends who uplift you and kind of bring you back and make you, help you realize the value that you have that allow you to overcome those things. When you come on here, don't think that you have to deliver a long-winded speech or anything that's completely scripted. Some of my notes, I'll show you guys. This was a news story from yesterday, but it's just a bunch of scribbles. I mean, if you look at it, right? Just a bunch of scribbles, that's all it is. But in terms of value, it's the message, it's you, the delivery, and the message that you bring that's going to provide the value. And the biggest part of the value, and the reason why Periscope is, I think, as popular as it is because of the engagement. This platform allows you to come on here when you're telling your story. It allows people to jump on and say, hey, you're valuable. Hey, you're doing great. They can heart it up. They can respond. You're one of my new favorite scopes. Lots of awesome content. I've learned so much from you. Thank you so much, Jen. That's a perfect example. Look at you guys. You guys are jumping in and providing you some bullet points. Yes, some bullet points. It's just a couple of bullet points. That's it. And you can riff off of that. You don't need to script the whole thing. You don't even need a teleprompter. So it's funny because I was hearing someone talk about, oh, look at here's a really cool teleprompter app. No, that's the wrong way to go about this. You don't need a teleprompter. Come on here, be genuine, be authentic, share your story, and you'll be great.